Hey everyone, welcome back to Mr. Holland's Classroom, where today we are wrapping up chapter 12. Chapter 12, the entire chapter for my math, was talking about three-dimensional shapes, or as we call them, solid shapes. I know, I use them both all the time, but solid shapes helps us to see that they are solid objects. They're not flat like 2D shapes. Solid, they take up space. So that's one way to talk about it. Three-dimensional helps remind us that we can measure them in three ways. We can measure how long, wide, and tall they are versus flat shapes that are just long and wide. So we're going to be wrapping this up. We're going to be reviewing some of the stuff we've talked about. We've talked about how the shapes are different from each other. We've talked about how they look like different objects. We've talked about what they can do as far as sliding, stacking, and rolling. So let's use those skills and let's review what we've learned. Okay. All right. So taking a look at this picture, they have these shapes in the real world. So looking at what is a sphere? Spheres, I'll circle them red. A sphere, not fear, a sphere is a rounded shape like a ball. So, what are those shapes? I know, there's a beach ball. Look at that, dead giveaway. But there's one other thing in this picture that is in the shape of a sphere. Can you find it? Yes, the sun. The sun is a sphere. Very good. It doesn't look like it because you're up in this, it's way out there in the sky, but it is round all the way around. That's how we're able to see it shining so brightly, even as we circle around it throughout the year. So, yes, it is another sphere. Great. Okay, now I'm going to change colors here to green. Cube. Cube. It's got that long U sound with the sneaky E. But a cube shape like an ice cube or like a like dice that we've talked about. I have a cube dice right here. But what in this picture is the shape of a cube? The lunchbox. Yep. All the goodies in the lunchbox. There we go. Okay, good. So we have a cube on there. Good. All right. Now we're going to shift gears over to blue for the cylinder. Cylinder. Now, this is another one of the trickier shapes to say its name, but a cylinder, remember, is like the shape of a can. Yeah. So, okay, trash can. Kind of gave it away, Mr. Holland. But there's a couple others on here. Yes, the cup. Yep. But look at over here. These posts. Posts are usually in a shape of a cylinder. They're round all the way around, going up. Some posts can be cube shaped, but they're not. They wouldn't be cubes. They would be rectangular prisms. And again, we haven't talked about that, but a rectangular prism is basically like a long box. So, wood, 2x4s, whatever, 4x4s. Those are rectangular prism shape. But anyway, I digress. Okay, so then the last one, which we'll do purple, is a cone. Cone. You hear the word cone and you're like, Mr. Holland, I already know this. Look at those little safety cones. Traffic cones. We see our cone shape all the time. They literally call them that. I don't see any ice cream cones on here. That would have been the obvious one. But if you notice the boy is playing with something, sometimes like a net, like if he was trying to catch a butterfly or something like that, nets, when you wave them, they have a round, they have a round opening, but it trails back into a point so that it doesn't, it can actually fly through the air. So yes, that is also a cone shaped. Very good. All right, let's check out what else we have in store. Okay, this one is, again, it's going to be pretty easy. I don't really even need to do it for you guys because we've seen this so many times on our work. Basically what they want, especially for the first two, is they want you to circle what shapes resemble them in real life. So this cylinder looks like a what? A box of Band-Aids? No. A party hat? No. Tomato soup can? Yes. The sphere. What does the sphere look like? An orange? Yes. This looks like a trash can? No. A flashlight? No. Okay. So, see, easy. When you get down here, though, number 3, number 4, they're not asking you to look for what are the shapes that are on there. They're asking you what can stack. So we know that the things that can stack have faces on the bottom and the top. So is the sphere going to stack? No, it's just going to roll right off. Cylinder is going to stack? Well, they're stacking on here. And then what about the blocks? Do you remember in our lesson 4 when they were stacking those foam blocks together? They used cylinders and cubes to do that. And then for number 4, this isn't a stacking. This is a rolling. What can roll? What has rounded sides? What's round? Does this have any round sides? No. Do these 2 shapes have round sides? Yes. So they can roll. Those are ones that you would circle. All right. And let's check out. Yep. They're talking about name and identify the shapes and then color the spheres yellow, color the cubes orange, color the cones blue, and color the cylinders red. So if you're like, oh, I forgot which ones was which, rewind that back. I'll tell you again, but make sure that you're not just scribbling sloppily, because if you accidentally scribble onto another thing, then your teacher's going to think they don't know what a cone and a cylinder is, or whatever it is that you accidentally colored. So just be sure to be careful as you're doing that. And then reflecting, looking at these shapes. Can you tell me what the shape is? It's a... Okay, what about this one? Yes, all right. And then this one? Good. One more. Okay, this one's the easy one. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So they want you to name them, describe them, and then you could, on this page, it's so blank, you could literally draw those different types of shapes. Might be a little bit tricky. You might need some help, but think about what other objects are these shapes and that you can draw on here. Maybe you can even quiz a classmate and see if they can figure out what your drawing is that has these shapes. So check that out. You can do this part on page 728 where you match those objects. Super easy. It says underline the shapes that will roll and then count how many of the objects will roll and then write that number. Same thing with this is the stacking. How many of these will stack? Write that number down. And then with these, how many of them will slide and stack and then write that number down. So, I mean, yeah. And then you're at the end of the book. Isn't that crazy? We're all done. It's weird to think about. But we're never really done. We're going to continue learning. It just won't be in kindergarten my math. It'll be up in first grade and something like that. So I'm so glad you guys joined me. And you'll see me in more videos on my YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe to my channel and check out all those other videos. But until next time, I will see you later. Bye, everyone.